So guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm out doing a bit of a recce really. It's now quite a way into spring now. As you can see, the canopy on the trees is fully out. Lots going on, breeding birds, certainly birds nesting, feeding young, on eggs. So I've just positioned myself in one of my local forests, quite deep in the forest. Going to have a look round, see what we can see. Absolutely full of bugs, as you can imagine. And it's 28 degrees today, so it's really, really hot. But we're going to get out, have a look round and see if we can see any new species, maybe some breeding birds. I was coming back from the Coyotes the other night and I heard my first owl in this place. I think it was an eastern screech owl. And if it wasn't for the Merlin bird app, I'd never have known what owl it was. So just going to go through some basic things, what I look for when I'm out recceing a new site. So I've got my Sigurd Stuben bag here. I've got my Canon R3 and 100-500. Got a good trusty pair of bins. Got a coffee, bowl of water and a little snack. And I'm going to get out for a fair few hours, have a scout through and have a look for any tracks, signs, bird species, nests, all that sort of stuff. Work my way along the river, maybe go up along where the coyotes are and see if there's anything along through there. One thing I will do obviously is just stress the importance of knowing your species of birds or mammals, whether that's tracks, poos, scats, calls, etc. The Merlin bird app is amazing. It really is a great bit of kit, especially for me in a new country where I can ID lots of new species, and there are a lot of species here. But I like to get it right with the calls myself. So I'm now getting to know quite a lot of the bird song, although sometimes I do get them a little wrong. I like to train myself so I can know what birds are in the vicinity. You haven't always got the option of having technology with you, so it's good to use your own instinct and skills there. But and also just really going through and stressing the importance of how important it is when you're doing photography, wildlife photography, bird photography, mammal photography, is the best way to succeed really is fieldcraft is key. Knowing how to use your camera, fair enough, that goes without saying. But one of the main things is really concentrate on a species you want to go for. So don't spread yourself over varying species. So 3, 4, 5 different bird species, couple mammal species, do badger one day, fox the next or whatever. Is stick to a species is key. Get to know that species, get to know its behaviour, times of day, best foods it likes to eat, its tracks, signs, most active, all these sorts of things, and then concentrate on that, you know. And also about planning your shot. Now in wildlife photography, a lot of people stage shots, you know, like hides and baited hides on posts and things like that. We won't go into the ins and outs of that too much, but if you can see yourself in a situation where you've used trail cameras, you know there's tracks and trails that wildlife use, you can then get yourself in a position where you can then capture a moment or a particular shot that you envisage in your head before you leave the house. So have a look, plan that shot, you know, plan times a day when the light comes through the trees, you get side lighting on a subject, when the trail cams you've put out have a particular species coming through at a certain time. It's not always the same exactly every single day, but you can kind of work out the best times. And if you set yourself up in that position enough times, you will be rewarded. So just sort of get the shot in your head and go, right, okay, this is the sort of thing I want. I want the undergrowth, so maybe some flowers, some bluebells, some other plant species, that mammal coming through, side lighting coming in from that side of the day. As it comes through, it illuminates, you're in a position there, you've got your camera set up, you know exactly what the settings are, you've done a few test shots, and then one day you stake it out, spend hours and hours, and then boom, your shot comes together. Planned it in your head, comes around the corner, and you get your shot. It doesn't always work, but it just goes to show the importance of, particularly, is concentrate on one species and work with that species until you get the desired shot, and then you can then move on to another project. It's set yourself a project. So me and going around today into the forest, you know, I'm going to have a little look, see if I can see any new tracks, signs. There's obviously foxes here, there's coyotes here, there's other mammal species, there's beaver, there's muskrat, there's groundhog, there's loads of other stuff in here. So we'll go around, have a look, and then if I can end up picking up on some tracks and some sign, then I can maybe get a position where I can set up some cameras, do a bit of recce work, get a bit of scrim, get a bit of camouflage set up, and then stake it out and go from there. But we're gonna have a little look round, just show you some of the stuff that I do. Bird calls, using the bins, you know, working out best times for the bird species to be active, all these sorts of things that just might help you with your wildlife photography, enabling you to get that shot. But I'm getting bitten to death here. I've got bugs everywhere, all over my legs. So I'm gonna get moving, work my way down along the river, and hopefully we'll be able to pick up some tracks, signs, and maybe potentially some good shots as well. I've kept the camera with me, as I said, and hopefully we can get some decent images there as well. But yeah, let's go. So guys, at the moment we've got quite a few calls kicking off at the moment, probably about 4 different bird species. And I'm just going to put on the Merlin app now. The bugs are horrendous. So apart from the plane going over, just putting the app on now. So we've got a great crested flycatcher already that's singing away. I think we've got a northern cardinal. We've got a red-eyed vireo already. This is a great spot for flycatcher species because I'm getting bitten. Although I don't get a reaction, they still have a good go at me. But those flycatchers are in here, vireos, all insect feeding birds. So a really, really good spot. And it's good to use this. I mean, there's the app at the moment, it's what it's picking up. You know, it's a good thing, but it's something not always to rely on too heavily. It's good to use your own ears and your own ID, and that way I do find I prefer it that way. It's just so much better. I've got, oh, there's a chipmunk just running along the branch. That little chipmunk just behind me here. Just see if I can get a picture of that. It's a little eastern chipmunk just along an old fallen pine log. So guys, as tempting as it is when you're walking around, it's just to hurry off in one direction. But sometimes it's nice just to have a little wander, 20, 30 feet, stop, have a little look around, stop, look in the canopy, see if you can see any movement. There's no wind today, so, and you just listen for a dog. Just listen. Always goes quiet when you stop. Big dog, another dog. There we go. Just had a bird species go down the path here. And that's another really good spot as well. A lot of insect-eating birds do like to go along footpaths because people walk along, dogs running around, they disturb the ground, and obviously there's bugs and stuff like that, worms in there, and they go in and feed on them. So it's a really good spot for them. And it's an open area for mammals to transit. So we've got an American robin just come in here on the ground. But it's lovely in here, I must admit, isn't it? It's a lot cooler in here. There's going to be, I think there's some hawks breeding in this part of the forest. But I've got no hope of finding the nest now with the canopy like it is. But it's one thing is there. Another thing is key to know your patch is get in there throughout the seasons. So winter, autumn, winter, brilliant time. You can work out early in spring as well when the leaf's not on the trees and birds are nesting. You can get in there, you know, you can get onto the nest, you know where it is, you log it, map, whatever, memory. Oh, we just had a woodpecker come in. Oh wow, yeah, just had a woodpecker come in. So I actually just got a nice little shot there of a woodpecker. So as much as it's good to do your recce work just with a pair of bins, 9 times out of 10 you go out with a pair of bins and don't take your camera, you see a shot of a lifetime or something that you'll miss. So it's always good to take it. Even though when you take it you don't see an awful lot, I think law of averages, if you take it enough times you will succeed and you will get that shot. Countless times I've walked with dogs and not taken my camera, or gone out to do some recce work and stuff and I wanted to travel light and I've missed a shot. So pack something light. I mean, this isn't particularly light, but it's not too bad. And then just get out and then take your pair of bins and your camera. Have a good scout around. Also really, really important to scan a lot of the old dead trees and look for like loads of gnarly holes in the trees. So for owl species, here things like raccoon, squirrel, chipmunk, but the owl species will love those holes, those crevices and cracks in the trees. Also, another good spot here, we're along a river at the moment, and this is a great spot. Obviously all birds need to drink, and this is a nice little spot here. So there is beaver in here, and a lot of fly-catching birds will like to be perched on some of the peripheries here of the river, and obviously feed off the insects here, so a really, really good spot. There is a resident kingfisher along here, and I've seen it, but these kingfishers, the belted kingfishers here in Canada, or probably anywhere in their range, are notoriously shy, and you just can't get close. I was trying to take some pictures of some coyotes the other night, and I was in an area of woodland. I was fairly cammed up, and one came right behind me, had the camera on a tripod, sort of turned around, and off it went. But there we go. Never know, might get lucky to see one today. But we're going to get down into the river now and hopefully have a look along there, see if we can see anything. So guys, I've just got a bit waylaid here with a load of damsels, and they're very, very blue in colour. There's like a male or female, or maybe it's a juvenile, but there's loads of them, and they're just basking at the moment on these leaves here. Absolutely beautiful in this little glade. Lights coming through, no wind, absolutely lovely. And I've got about 6 in front of me now. As soon as I move the Osmo Pocket, it's just going to fly. But they are beautiful, and I've just moved in along off the beaten track now across the river and into the other side where there's no paths, and this is coyote territory in here now, so I've got to tread a little bit careful. I don't want to disturb them, but I'm just having a bit of fun with these guys. Trouble is with me, with wildlife photography, I just get so distracted. I think it was written in my school report from when I was at primary and secondary school that he's easily distracted, which I am, and I'm now easily distracted, and thankfully I've got no one telling me I need to move on. But having a great time watching these damsels, and see if I can get the Osmo 3 on them and get them flitting around. So guys, I've just come well and truly off piste here, and I've just found a really faint track just here. So the vegetation's all over the forest floor. Nobody walks through here. Possibly a lot of mammal species, not necessarily coyote. But because it's so quiet over the side of the river and there's a very high bank down below, there's a good chance this is where they lay up. Just got to be a little bit mindful. They can pick me off quite a distance, and if they hear me, they're likely to move on, so I don't really want to disturb them too much, but I'll stick to the path that they've made for a little bit longer, and then deviate back along the river and then back up on the main track, I think. There's quite a few bird species around here. It's really quite nice. I've just seen a magnolia warbler again. There's yellow warblers in here, lots of cardinals, and it's nice to hear the great crested flycatchers again. I managed to get a little bit of footage of those, but yeah, it's really, really nice. It's nice to come off the beaten track a little bit. We're going to push on a little bit further and see where we head up. So I've just disturbed something quite large up the back there. I didn't hear it run off. It just sort of probably got off from its sitting position and just shuffled a little bit. So I'm probably going to head back onto the main track now, because this is getting really thick in here. You go past this bit and it's just like thick jungle in there, and yeah, I want to stay away from there if I can. I end up walking in on some species, a nice jay they're calling. So many vocalizations with jays. That's another thing with a lot of bird species as well, mimickers, is it really does confuse the call. But the bird app is fantastic for that. It picks them up even if it's doing a very unusual call. Yeah, I don't feel that great about being in here so deep, so I think I'm going to move off and get back on the main track. So guys, in front of me, as you can see here, all the way along, we've got this vertical bank, and that is an ideal spot for kingfisher. Not just kingfisher in Europe, but kingfisher here for the belted. Really, really good spot for them. It is kind of crumbly, but they will tunnel into that a fair way and build a nest. So a really quite a good spot. It doesn't seem to be like an amazing amount of fish in the river, but there are aquatic insects, and there are little small fish in here as well, so maybe enough to sustain them, I don't know, but it certainly is a lovely spot actually along the river here. Just looking up through, that's a lovely view up through there. Yeah, great spot. As I said, the kingfisher is here. I have seen it probably daily, usually hear it before I see it, so there's a possibility it will be breeding along here somewhere. So yeah, it's just another one to look out for. So walking on the river here, find the hole, find a perch, you know, come back early morning, get in under cover, get a hide up, get a bit of scrim, whatever, hide away, work out the habits, and there you go. There's your project that I was going about earlier on. You know, it'll take maybe weeks, maybe take longer. You know, you may get lucky straight away. Look for sort of prominent perches as well along the river. There's lots and lots of places that the kingfisher can perch. Standard kingfisher thing. Perching, diving, that sort of behaviour. That's the sort of thing you're looking for. So out today now, I haven't really had any success with kingfishers yet, so it just goes to show that coming along the river like this, having a little recce along, finding a spot where the kingfishers are, that's it, that's my project for the next week or two, until I succeed in getting a half decent shot, and maybe bringing out a video if I'm doing a video on it. But I don't just go out and do videos every single time I go out. I do other photography, and then I do a video as and when, hopefully weekly. But it's just one of those things, and we can walk along a little bit further, we can find a nest of another bird or mammal, and then focus on that. You know, you just need to get out, really have a look, sit, sometimes just sit, wait for like half hour, have a brew, conceal yourself away in a bank somewhere, in a bit of forest, just chill out, have a brew, and just wait for everyone to relax, and then you can then see things unfold in front of you. Get your bins out, have a scan around, and hope you get lucky. So here we are guys, we're just along a nice little bit of the river here, and in front here we've got some fallen deadwood, some fallen trees. Perfect spot there for the belted kingfisher. And the same as the European kingfisher at home, it's a lovely deep pool below. That would be, for me, an absolute bet that the kingfisher would land there. If you position yourself where I'm standing now or on the opposite side of the bank, I guarantee that a kingfisher would turn up. You know, it's a pretty much dead cert that if you recce that site, you spend a bit of time there, if you're allowed, stick a trail cam up, guarantee you'll get some luck. Deeper pools here, there's otters here, there's beaver, there's muskrat. There's gonna be loads and loads of stuff. It's a really good way of doing it. And you can sometimes see some of where the birds land on certain perches. You'll see where they're gripping onto the branch, they rub away the bark. So you get a little portion there of wear. So you know that a bird's been on there, and there's also sometimes you get some poo. So another little good spot, guys, you know, recce a site like that, look for deep water pools. That there is probably the best spot that I've seen for a kingfisher, and I've not seen this part of the river before. So for me, that would be a fantastic spot. I've just got to find out whereabouts they are breeding along here. You know, I don't know those kingfishers that I see regularly of they could be unpaired birds. I don't really know. I wouldn't imagine they transit too far to find food from the nest site, so that is a possibility. But it's a lovely spot on here, and it's alive with dragonflies and demoiselles at the moment. Yeah, lovely. Right, let's go on, see if we can find something else. So guys, not massively conclusive, but right along the river here, off the beaten track, and there's a natural path just behind me here. You can see going down through, and that's obviously mammals coming down to drink on the water's edge here. Bit of a dead giveaway really, following that into the thick bush there. Could be anything laid up in there, and I've had coyotes come through this bit up to the main path where I had that evening with the coyotes that you probably, if you've watched that video on ethics of wildlife photography in my 44-hour session without result, that's where they were coming from. So yeah, in there somewhere could be a coyote laid up in the sun just chilling out. Pop down here away from the beaten track, from dogs and people, quick drink, back up, chill out, you know. If it gets really hot, come in for a bit of a dip, you know. One of those things really, so there's a high possibility. Or it could be used by another mammal species, you know, rabbits, foxes, hares, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, just good to work our way along. Another place if you wanted to do a bit of a project, put a cam trap up near here, cross the other side of the river, facing this way, and then you can see what comes down through. Get yourself set up on the other side, start a new project. You know, it's always constantly thinking about how I can possibly, you know, create that shot, nice reflection shot in the water, get the sun in a certain position, all this sort of stuff going around in your head, trying to work out the best way you can then gain that sort of image that hasn't been done before. But yeah, going to head up the river now, hopefully going up that way, and yeah, see where it takes us. So I've just been walking along and I've just seen the resident bird of prey, and I don't know if it was the Coopers or the red tail carrying prey into near a conifer tree. I don't know whether it's gone into a nest or it's actually feeding itself. So hard to see now, the canopy is fully developed on the trees. Right, there's a bench over here. I'm just going to sit down on the bench, get my brew out, and hopefully it might reveal itself. Oh, I see it, I can see it. I'll see if I can get some video in a minute. So guys, I've just brought the tripod with me, which is kind of lucky. Stuck it in my bag, and we've got the, what appears to be, let's turn the camera around, we've got a red-tailed hawk, and you'll be able to see it's just in the middle of there. It's just having a feed. Just running a bit of video now. It's very, very washed out of colour, sadly. That's just the heat of the day. It looks like it's up there having a bit of a feed, probably dismembering the bits it doesn't need, guts, intestine, doing its thing before it takes it back to a nest. It looks like the red tail from here. But it's hard to see, that light is so bright. But yeah, great to capture that as it's coming across. Just sit here, spend a bit of time with it for a bit. I know where its nest is roughly, but it's too deep in the forest, and to get a shot of the nest and the birds doing their thing in a very tall tree in a ravine without a vertical side to one side is just no good. You're not going to see in there at all. But anyway, better get back to this before it decides to disappear. So guys, it's absolutely baking. It's a good job I've got a nice cup of coffee to keep me cool. But still, I haven't had a brew this morning, so it's quite nice to... Yeah, it's still nice though. So the red-tailed hawk's still up in the tree, doing whatever it's doing with its kill. I just wanted to add to what I said about going out to your local patch or reserve. You know, you just need to get out in nature, really. Get out, scout around. You know, a lot of people, and to be fair, I've been a bird watcher, interested in birds since I was sort of 7 or 8 years old. I've been taking pictures since I was 10. I'm now 48. I can spot, you know, birds, small birds, big birds, mammals at distance, behaviour, movement. You know, I'm really attuned to what I'm doing in my surroundings. I've just had 2 people walk past, 2 ladies, and I just pointed out where this red-tailed hawk is in the tree, and they could not see it at all. Some people just don't it's not their fault, it's just that they're not really aware of their surroundings as much. And, you know, I really am sort of zoned into what I do. So I'm constantly scanning, you know, scanning sort of 180, looking around, any animals moving around at ground level. So you're looking for maybe skunk, groundhog, squirrel, chipmunk, you know, any of the mustelid family, fox, coyote, anything like that. You know, constantly scanning around, having a look. And not just about birds and mammals, but also insect life, you know, all sorts of stuff. You know, sometimes it's to sit down and just take it all in. Know your patch. As I said before, times of day are critical. So early morning, first thing, you know, animals, birds, some animals that is, obviously not the nocturnal types that have been feeding at night who end up laying up for the daytime. But a lot of bird species and some mammal species will come out first thing in the morning and they're out to hunt straight away. They need to. They've been sort of roosting overnight, lost energy, wake up in the morning, they need food. So they're going to be frantically out there trying to find food, especially if they're feeding young at this time of the year. So it's of vital importance then for them to get out and find that food. And sometimes they lose their inhibition slightly because they're so sort of intent on what they're doing, getting food to feed young, getting food to feed themselves, that sometimes they do forget about the dangers. So one to be aware of, so morning, and also that's applicable to evening as well, because obviously go to roost, they want to have a full stomach, digest that overnight, and then that keeps them going through. And that applies to, just keeps them going through until the following day. And that applies especially in sort of autumn and winter as well, where they really do need that food to keep them going and keep them alive throughout the colder months. But that's just a few of the little tips where you could use, you know, just really get to know your local patch, get to know the best times of day, come out with a pair of bins. You don't have to bring the camera, but I always do now because I'm always going to miss that shot that I wish I bought it. It's like today, I've just been taking a picture of the red-tailed hawk sitting on top of a tree. I got the tripod, I got the 100-500, but if I had my prime there, it'd been a lot better. But it's just the way it goes, you know. If you lumber that kit around, you end up getting a bit sort of cumbersome and it's not as much fun. So just a few tips there, guys, just to be aware of when you're out doing your field craft and then concentrating on some of the projects you may be working on. So guys, I just followed a path in where I think the coyotes transit, and it's so deep in here. And I imagine they're in there somewhere with young pups. But I'm kind of loath to go in any further, really. I don't, you know, as I said before, I don't do disturbance, so just wanted to follow it in and see. I know where the den site is, and it's still quite a ways from here. But I kind of wanted to follow in. Some jays flitting around in here, which is quite nice. And quite a lot of chipmunk and a few other bird species, as you can hear. Baltimore oriole calling over there again. This is a great spot for the coyotes coming through. Ah, my God, it just massively bit me on the leg. But yeah, it's alive in here. Beautiful though. Yeah, I'd imagine. Just it's weird to think that there's going to be two adult coyotes in here, maybe more adults, and the other young pups somewhere tucked away in here, and there definitely is. Might try up high, have a look across into the valley there, and it's further up the back where they are. But they have a habit of, if you do get too close, they'll come towards you and they'll escort you away. So they'll walk towards you, keep eye contact, move back slowly. And when they're happy that you've moved back enough, they'll just turn around and resume what they were doing, and then you just walk away. You kind of don't want to get to that point though. I know they're in there, so it would be stupid of me to go and just walk straight through. I do, however, want to see what's going on in the ravine in here, because I've never been in this side. Yeah, there's a lot of birds in here chipping away. And mammals. But yeah, gonna have another little look. It's absolutely boiling. I think I've got sweat coming through my cap there. But it stops it running down my face. So anyway, let's go. So guys, I've come up high onto the bank here, and there's the ravine here. And then it's basically on the other side of that bank, going that way is where the coyote den is with the young pups. I certainly don't want to be going any further now. I wanted to get up high to look across. That's where they are. Quite a ways in there from the back of this bank here. It would have been an ideal place to set up a camera trap down here. Perfect. What I mean by a camera trap, I mean the DSLR camera trap, which would have been great. No flash, just chance my arm really in the daytime. Sadly though, I can't put any cameras up here, can't put any trail cams up, can't put any DSLR camera traps up, can't even, well, can't leave anything in the woods unattended. So it's a bit of a shame, but I've got to abide by it as well, and there's a high chance that they'll get pinched as well. It's a real shame, but when I move, hopefully Ottawa, there'll be certainly some wild areas and some private land that hopefully I'll get access to. I've keyed in with a few farmers up there as well, so hopefully they'll give me access, and hopefully I'll be able to do some DSLR cam trapping there, all being well. It's a real shame really, because this would have been a great spot. But yeah, sadly not to be, but I've got to abide by it, I suppose. And I don't really want my kit to get nicked either, although I've never seen anybody in here. There's always a chance, but just having my wits about me in here while I'm having a look round, but I'm not going any further now than this point. The wind's going that way. They've scented me already. They've heard me already. I'm talking away, quite bold as brass, but you can see there's gaps in here where they've moved through. But I'm going to head back down that way now, get out of the way, get back on the main tracks, and leave these guys be. So here we have here a Mammalian Scat, just through this little track. Looks quite big. Could be coyote, don't know. But a good indication through this quite overgrown track. So guys, got a new species I can hear at the back here. An indigo bunting. Obviously quite a beautiful colour, indigo. So I saw it down below, but I'm shooting right into the light, so that's it singing there. Just pick that up, so I'm going to see if I can get a shot this side. Beautiful looking bird. So guys, I'm watching a copse of trees from quite a distance now. I'm probably kind of 150 feet away. And it's just nice to sit back, watch with your bins, camera if you want to use your camera, if you don't want to take a pair of binoculars, and just scout out and see what's about. Sometimes you move in onto one place and you can flush stuff away. So quite nice just to sit back, chill out, you know, take your time and just scout the area, because sometimes you can just stumble in on stuff and flush them away. It's things like birds of prey sitting on, you know, prominent branches, maybe dead wood, maybe amongst sort of a tree that's partially dead wood and partially sprouted. Sometimes they like to camouflage themselves when they're surveying their area. You know, the amount of times I've walked in on them and they've flushed them off. If I'd have gone in quietly, I might have been able to get a nice little shot of them. So it's just good to sit back, chill out really, just have a look and just scout the trees, hedges, and on the ground as well for birds coming down. There's a few eastern kingbirds I've just seen as well. Oh, that indigo bunting is back. Oh, beautiful. I think it's worth going over for a go with that. That's a beautiful looking bird. So guys, what we're saying about some of the smaller passerine type birds, warblers and all that sort of stuff, is that they'll use the same prominent perches. Now, I saw a bird on here earlier on, didn't know what it was, and it's the indigo bunting again. So that's the third time I've seen it. It sort of goes up, does a call, stays up there for quite a while, gets flushed by an American robin or any other sort of bird species. It goes down into cover. Once they've disappeared, it's back up on its perch again. So it's just a case of just waiting for that bird species to come back. Pre-focus where it was. If not, just get a tripod out, get ready like I have now, and hopefully 9 times out of 10 it will be back. The light is so harsh now, it's so bright. This is a terrible bit of video, but it's just good for you to appreciate, you know, what you need to do really, and that it may hang around here for, you know, a fair while. You know, so there's a good chance you can get that decent shot, come back, get set up when the light's better. I mean, today it's terrible now, it's so bright. Yeah, I'm hoping it's going to come back. So I've got a little bit closer now. And what I've done as well is when I set up, saw it from a distance, as I was just casing out, as I said before, casing out the trees, casing out the bushes. I got set up, got everything ready, and then I moved in nice and slow, got the tripod here, camera was ready to go, straight on the bird, boom. And then I got focused on it and it just took off. Not because of me, just took off because he got flushed by another bird species. So I'm hoping it might come back. Just got a little flurry of warblers in this little copse of trees here. Absolutely amazing. They're just so hard to pick out. So with bird species like this, you see a group of warblers together, certainly in one spot. That's usually them moving through, not generally on territory. They're not all, it's about 4 species in there, and they're likely to be all breeding in the same spot. So that's just them moving through, so it wouldn't be any point in staying too long. They'll just move on through the woodland there, obviously off to wherever they're going. So, but yeah, great to see, great to see. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that walk around this morning. It's been great. I've been here for kind of like 3.5, 4 hours. And I just really wanted to take you out and just show you what I do when I'm out looking for new subjects to photograph and to do videos on for YouTube. You know, it's a case of just get a light bag, get a brew, get a nice bottle of water, a snack, whatever, and just get out on your local patch, just open your eyes, have a look round, and always take your camera, take a good pair of bins, notepad, phone, jot down notes, times, days, places, perches, you know, all that sort of stuff, possible places to put trail cams up, all that sort of stuff. Maybe make a natural hide out of materials without sort of disturbing too much of the habitat. You don't want to start breaking the habitat up to make you know, yourself a natural hide. Just use what you can, fallen dead stuff, use a bit of scrim and stuff like that. Set up, get your trail cams in place, do your recce work, take the camera with you, obviously, in case you get any images, and then just go from there, really. You know, it's very important to brush up on your fieldcraft skills, brush up on the species you're after when you get home. So today, obviously, if you see a certain bird species, we've seen the hawks, you know, kingfishers, etc. Go back, do a bit of study, look at a few blog posts, read up on them, times of day, habitat, where they like to go, look for perches, all that sort of stuff for warbler species, flycatchers, and just do your work and then concentrate on that one species, watch an area, sit, chill out with a brew, just watch what happens, and you'll notice a lot of bird species will come back to the same spots time after time. All you need to do is get yourself in a position, get your camera, tripod set up, job done, and then you can hone in some great shots. And you can also envisage where you think that bird's going to be, get the nice background, get the lighting right, side lighting, front lighting, back lighting, whatever, and then you get yourself in that position where you know you get pre-focused, you've got good depth of field, and then you want to get that shot of a warbler on a dead branch in the middle of a forest with a lovely distance on the backdrop, and then you can get a really, really nice diffused background and isolate that that subject. I'll just put a picture of a wood warbler taken on Exmoor up on the screen, and that's the sort of thing you're kind of looking for, really, to isolate the subject. I've got a lovely wood warbler, very small warbler, lovely, lovely call, just positioned on a post, just arrived on territory, absolutely lovely. And that's the sort of thing you want to look for rather than gaining that cluttered background. But it's just a bit of an idea, guys, for you, really, just to give you some sort of insight of what I get up to. I do a lot of other stuff, obviously, trail cameras, I do go out walking every day, I build up my knowledge in my local area, and then go from there. And that's all you need to do. And at the end of the day, you're out in nature. It's enjoyable with or without a camera. So yeah, best of luck, guys. Getting absolutely ravaged here on my legs by bugs. But I hope you enjoyed that, guys. You know, it's just a little bit of an insight on what I get up to. If you've got any thing for me, please leave me a comment in the section below. Give us a like if you could, much appreciated. And as I said, guys, if you fancy joining the YouTube membership, please do. If you do fancy buying me a tea, coffee or cake, that's very, very much appreciated, and I really do enjoy that. And there's a link below on the screen, and there's a link in the vlog description. But from me, on a very hot now 28 degrees in Canada, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time.